Crowhill here. Today we review a lager and discuss trends in new national parks. Hey, good evening, Pigweed.
Good evening, Crowhill. How about some beer and conversation?
That's a great idea. What are we drinking?
This is a lager from FLA.
Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
So what's on your mind?
Well. National parks. Who doesn't love a national park?
National parks are great.
And local parks.
We've been to a few.
I just love the whole park system.
Yes.
And but you got new parks coming online all the time.
Yeah.
And so what we have
And
here is,
I think the Biden administration had a whole pile of them.
we had about 20 of them here that are fairly recent, and I thought we'd just go through them and celebrate the park system.
Okay, very good. It sounds like a great idea. Now this beer actually, I was in Orlando, and I figured I would pick up a local beer for us to review. And I was looking through their case; they had a whole bunch of interesting things on there. This one is Fried Salad.
Okay.
From Tactical Brewing Company.
Yeah.
In Orlando.
Yeah.
And is a dry hopped oat lager.
Yeah.
You don't usually think of oats in a lager.
No.
And it's 6%. So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's great. It's both it's drier and hoppier than you would expect from just your run of the mill lager. It smells good, and I'm not sure if I get what the oat adds to it, but
Now the classic question: if they didn't tell you it was a lager, could you tell it was a lager?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Not this one here because of all the hops that you don't expect in a lager. But
yeah, I'm liking that. It's very pale, but it still has a malty flavor to it, and it's got a really good hop aroma.
Really good.
Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah, and at 6%, it is a little strong for your average
and it's a
lager.
16-ounce can, so there we go. So
Well,
well done,
into it.
Tactical Brewing. Keep them coming. You should,
right.
now that we've given you a review, you can mail a couple up to us.
Very nice.
Very good.
Did you know? I always associate the park system. I always give Theodore Roosevelt a lot of credit for it, and he deserves it. But the first national park, Yellowstone, was established by Congress and signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant in 1872.
Huh, okay.
Then after that, we had Woodrow Wilson signed the National Park Service.
So you did something right?
In 1960.
Yeah.
But yes, a major conservationist. He was. I don't imagine Woodrow Wilson was out there riding horses and hunting
No, I don't think
and
so.
hiking.
He was like painting his nails or something.
Super academic East Coaster.
Right.
But Theodore Roosevelt expanded the whole thing, and that's how he got up on Mount Rushmore. He's Mr. Outdoorsman and Mr. Park Service. We're talking about 85 million acres.
Whoa.
132 square miles.
Yeah.
And,
132,000.
3,000 square miles.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of protected land.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I think, having land for flora and fauna and for people to enjoy and experience.
It's less clear in places like Utah and Nevada where there's just tons of federal land and you're not exactly sure why. That's... Like, why do they have? It's like for minerals, sometimes for nuclear testing, for other things. Right. So, but places where they're preserving, the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone or something like that, that's fantastic, and that's exactly what we want.
Right, you give animals in nature room to breathe and people access to experience the beauty of the country. We don't have to develop the whole dang thing. It's big. And it's kind of. I thought it was excellent foresight in 1872 when there's zero people around. It's like, what are we protecting it from? Who, right? But it was a good
idea.
And so you have that nature aspect. You have things like battlefields. Gettysburg. I'm into Gettysburg and Vicksburg.
Yeah,
that was good. And then you just have Abraham Lincoln's boyhood cabin that he grew up in. That's now inside of a marble mausoleum. But
is Mount Vernon a national park or a state park? I can't remember.
Probably national.
Yeah,
probably national. So they don't have to be particularly grand. And so let's just go. A taste of Maryland.
Okay.
So this is a sense. Maryland has 15 national park sites, but this here, the key ones are I have 8 here. So such as?
Yeah. So Antietam, we've been there. Big Civil War site. Right.
Yeah. At Assateague Island, where you got the ponies and everything. Right. That's all protected.
I've been camping there before. Yep. Catoctin Mountain. It's a nice hiking. Isn't Camp David up there too?
Yes. Right. So which is right next to Maryland State, but I think they butt up, but that's a national park. Yeah. The C&O Canal.
Oh, sure.
Fantastic idea.
Fort McHenry, that's a lovely place. It's
lovely
a fun place to
go. It's home of the National
Star-Spangled Banner and all that, right?
Then we've got just to commemorate an important person, you have the home of Clara Barton.
Yeah, founder of the Red Cross. That's pretty fantastic. Right. Piscataway Park. Which nothing particular happened there, right? It's just trails.
Just trails in the Living History Museum.
Okay,
and then another famous person, you've got Thomas Stone, a signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay, sure.
So in this group of 8, we have 2 battlefields, 3 nature walks, and 2 prominent important historical
figures.
That's
what you want parks for.
That is what you want parks for.
Yes,
so that's
very well done.
That's a great display of that. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
We'll just go back and forth here. Mine expands the area around the Grand Canyon. Broadens the Grand Canyon thing, but it's also
Are we talking about the Biden ones now?
Yeah. Right, so the ones that occurred in recent years.
Just in the recent years.
This one is August 2023.
Okay.
So this was advocated by tribal nations to preserve, the ancestral footprints of the. I can't pronounce this tribe. And can you look at that thing?
No, I can't pronounce that. Yeah.
But let's just say.
Okay. So then we have another park, New Alabama Black Belt Park, which it's about slavery and civil rights. It's preserving cultural landscapes to promote rural tourism.
Okay. Yeah. I've got Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad National Historic Park. Okay. This is another local Marylander from the Eastern Shore.
Okay, this one's Amachi or something.
Yeah.
Grenada Relocation Center in Colorado, where Japanese Americans were interred.
Okay. Yeah. I've got the Harvey Milk National Historic Site, who was a San Francisco politician and who was assassinated, and they commemorate that thing.
So this one's Avi Kwa Aim or something. Sacred landscape in southern Nevada, with featuring desert mountains and petroglyphs.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the Katahdin Woods Mountain. So Katahdin Mountain is the end of the Appalachian Trail, or the beginning, or if you're doing a Sobo, Nobo, or flip-flop, of course, then who knows where it is. But so this is just sort of extends the area around. That's already a state park,
right?
And then they're just including more area in the region.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Next one is Bears Ears.
Bears Ears.
It's a
nice.
natural area in southeastern Utah. Okay, known for Twin Buttes, ancient cliff dwellings, and rock art.
Okay, this is the Ocmulgee Mounds. So there are these mounds
Tennessee?
In Mississippi, I thought.
Yeah.
Hold on. Today the Oklahoma. So these large mounds, which are archaeological sites. If you can go dig up.
So there was this weird mound culture. Among early Americans. It was actually
just right around back to the Ice Age.
Right. Yeah, go back quite a ways.
So they just want to, and that's all. The mounds themselves are already preserved. It's just again adding another 700 acres to the thing.
Okay, so this one's Blackwell. It's a regional park, possibly focused on recreation, conservation, or community use. It depends on who you ask, but it's just a relatively regional park. All right,
this is. I'm not sure how this one works. So this is the Pullman National Historic Park.
Yeah.
Which commemorates a strike, that 19th century strike by the Pullman. That's a railroad.
Pullman's a type of a car on the train.
Yeah. So it's a railroad. The strike shut down rail travel across the country and led to the creation of Labor Day.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the next one's Butte. Buttes are landscapes out in the west, those high, flat things, kind of weird looking. Rugged terrain, scenic views, geological interest, that sort of thing.
Nothing wrong with that. This one seems good. The Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area preserves some of the last remaining wild spaces near Los Angeles.
Oh.
So Los Angeles doesn't need to sprawl forever.
Yes.
Can we stop it somewhere where people can actually go to Los Angeles and go out and be possibly attacked by a mountain lion?
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah. All right, so Cesar Chavez Park, honoring labor leader Cesar Chavez.
Okay, and I've got the Julius Rosenwald Schools National Historical Park,
okay,
who was the son of German Jewish immigrants who had his philanthropic cause was to build schools for black students.
All right, okay. So there's Chesapeake Park, tied to the Chesapeake Bay, emphasizing coastal ecosystems, wetlands, wildlife, that sort of thing.
And I have the Stonewall National Monument in the heart of New York City's Greenwich Village, a powerful symbol of resistance and progress, and a turning point in the modern LGBT civil rights movement.
Yeah, okay. This one's Chuckwalla. It's a desert parkland in California named after the Chuckwalla lizard.
Okay.
Okay. Featuring arid landscapes, unique rock formations, and so forth.
And I have the Emmett Till Mobley National Monument commemorating the murder of Emmett Till in 1955.
All right. And I got Fort Monroe, a historical military installation in Virginia at the entrance to the Chesapeake Bay.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, okay. So what do these guys have in common?
We opened this thing up with current trends.
Yeah.
And we also told you about Maryland's, how Maryland seems to be indicative of the national park system.
Yeah.
Nature,
historical figures.
Right. Nature and historical figures, and battlefields.
Battlefields, right. Yeah.
Now, so let's go through here and see really what we're talking about here. I've got the themes or the definition I've got.
Okay.
Got nature, slavery, LGBT, nature, strife, nature, slavery, LGBT, and lynching.
Okay, so I've got slavery and civil rights, Japanese internment, Native American spiritual sites, the place that's important to Native Americans, nature plus indigenous replacement, celebrating a commie, that's the Cesar Chavez one, nature, and a refuge for enslaved people in the Civil War. So it seems that there's been an ideological turn here. Just yes, on a casual reading.
The celebration of American greatness, I'm not feeling it.
No. So this is the thing that I was wondering about. We seem to have not you and me, but the left in America seems to have this penchant for celebrating what we've done wrong.
Yes. Let's present to the world America at its worst.
Yeah. Let's find things that we've done wrong and then make a monument out of it and proclaim. So, when was the last time you visited a high school?
Right.
You go into a high school and there's usually a case with a bunch of trophies in it. We won first place in wrestling last year. We won second place in volleyball 2 years ago. We got
maybe it's named after an important regional figure, and they got his accomplishments.
Yeah. When was the last time you went into a high school and it said, okay, here's this guy who graduated from here and went and shot some people. Here's this guy who graduated from here or was a teacher here, and he went out and he was a creep.
This is the worst person in our region.
Yeah, and he came from this high school. Yeah. You don't do why do you do that?
I know. I mean, I remember the show we did on the self-loathing nation. It's whoa. Look around the world. Who does that? Who celebrates?
No, there are some other countries that do the same sort of thing that we do.
Yeah, but I mean ones. How about ones that are not Western European Anglosphere nations?
Right, exactly. So the ones that do celebrate their crimes are Germany and Japan because of World War II, South Africa, the UK, and the USA.
I mean, even. I don't know how much moping is there in Japan about Imperial Japan. Are they flagellating themselves?
Not as much as the Germans do. But they do have some things about, how, because the Japanese did some awful things. I mean, they went and enslaved the Koreans and all that kind of stuff.
I know, but I would think that they would go, moving on.
That's what most countries do.
How about the Mongols? We talked about them before.
Yeah.
How they walking around with their heads hung low?
Are you kidding? They're walking around with their heads hung high. We kicked all your butts, right?
The largest contiguous empire in world history.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
But and the highest rate of murder.
Yes.
But whatever.
But we have to call attention to our crimes, and under the Biden administration, to particular crimes.
Well, yes, I've noticed. So the Harriet Tubman, I mean, honestly, her legacy is very close to just being made up. She wasn't the leader of. I'm sure there was a woman named Harriet Tubman, and there was, and she was badly injured as a young woman, struck in the head.
Okay.
There was no way that she had the fortitude to
do all the things.
To do all the things. So what happened was you had a couple of commies years later who wrote her story with no primary sources. But it was one of those, like, such a good story.
Well, there was a good movie that came out a little while ago about this badass black woman who's leading people out to freedom.
Apparently
and it's all not true.
It's not.
That's sad because it was a good story.
Now, Harvey Milk is kind of like the Matthew Shepard. So the Harvey Milk was as early openly gay politician.
Okay.
Who was assassinated by a political rival for political reasons.
Yeah.
Not because he was gay.
Right.
But it just... So he's become a symbol of, here we are celebrating, not celebrating all the good things that Harvey did, because, I don't know, he was a local politician, really. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he achieved a great deal.
But that's always the excuse. Somebody pulls you over because you're speeding, and then you make an excuse, you pulled me over because you don't like the look of me, right?
Yeah.
And it's not because it's because you were speeding. And so, like, Matthew Shepard was involved in some sort of a drug deal going bad, right?
Drug deal going bad. And everybody knew it. And all the local politicians knew it, but it had gained such national momentum that every newspaper, New York Times author, and everyone was out there to write the story that they already wrote it before they got there.
Yeah,
and
but that's the way you do propaganda. I cannot lie. I chopped down the cherry tree. That you want to say that people have this virtue that maybe they had, maybe they didn't have, but that's the way you're trying to build something. But what happens here is you're trying to build negative virtue.
So it's a negative virtue, and it's just like a house in the middle of... That's just not what I think of as of a national park. A house in the middle of San Francisco as part of the national... All right, if San Francisco wants to make a Harvey Milk Museum, well... Feel free, Right. I don't know why it's part of the National Historic Site.
Yeah. But it seems as if the Biden administration's impetus in creating many, not all, but many of these parks was to highlight American misdeeds in the past from their perspective.
So we talked about the mound culture.
Yeah.
And archaeologists are there, and that's great. Preserve that. Find out about our past. But you just can't help yourselves, can you, people? You have to say, we're talking about the Native American life along... Oh, no, I'm sorry. What did I say? I said Oklahoma. This is Georgia.
Okay.
Ocmulgee River, spanning from the end of the last ice age through Mississippian mound building era.
Yeah.
The age of European contact and the tragic period of Indian removal.
Yeah.
So let's not forget to wedge that in there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What is this Pullman National... So we're celebrating abuse of workers, right? Workers' rights, fighting back against the evil capitalists.
Right.
So let's make a national park in the far south side of Chicago to talk about the brutality of industry and workers' rights. So America bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we get. I mean, a lot of these things are America bad. The Alabama Black Belt highlights the legacy of slavery, sharecropping, and systemic racial disenfranchisement.
I saw one from the picture. I said, "Oh, Fort Monroe, that looks kind of cool. What battle took place there?"
Yeah, nothing. It was what happened there was it was a place for a refuge for enslaved people during the Civil War, which that's good. I'm glad.
Hold on, I thought that was the one that was the first place in 1619 that slave ships pulled up into. Does that sound?
Maybe because it's closely tied to the history of slavery. So maybe that is.
But anyway, it's part of our national shame.
And then there's we have to celebrate the internment of the Japanese, which was supposed to be some great big crime.
Right.
And then all these things about recognition of Native American sacred land and spiritual traditions.
Which was just run roughshod over by expansionist Americans.
Yeah.
The stone. So I said Harvey Milk's house in downtown San Francisco. It's kind of stretching it. How about a gay bar?
Yeah, I know. Stonewall comes up all the time.
It does come up all the time. Yeah. And now it's a national monument marking the turning point of modern LGBT civil rights and tells the story of courage, unity, and the relentless pursuit of equality.
Yeah, why don't they tell the stories about what goes on in the bathroom? So, Cesar Chavez, why are we celebrating Cesar Chavez?
Hold on, did you know he's already... between the time that they got him his monument until... yesterday.
Yeah.
No, they're tearing down Chavez monuments now.
Why?
Oh, he went on the wrong side now because he sexual abuse claims that are 50 years old.
Wow.
Have been enough to now he's.
They're eating their own.
They're eating their own.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So then you have other ones like Chuckwalla Desert. This was supposed to be about a lizard.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but apparently it's about environmental mismanagement. Everything has to have a liberal spin.
We're going to preserve the area. We're going to preserve this land for this rabbit. Okay, that's good. Because man-made climate change is destroying the planet.
Because there has to be a guilt trip.
Can you just preserve it for the daggone rabbit?
There has to be a guilt trip.
Yeah.
All the time. And what country does this? Who does this? You do this with your children? Give them a guilt trip about everything?
Yeah, tell them how all right, son, let me sit down here and let me tell you about Uncle Remus. That guy was the worst one in our family, and you should be ashamed of your name.
That's right. Or okay, you got a good grade this time, but you remember your last report card?
Yeah, just like Debbie Downer.
I know. Take the kid's worst report card and frame it and put it up on the wall and highlight it. This is what our kids do.
And then you've got Emmett Till.
Okay.
I mean, yes. 65 years ago, there was a racist attack on a child in Mississippi. All right, that's bad. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to keep scratching that scab and keeping that wound festering because what you're trying to do, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to just map on 65-year-old racist rural Mississippi really is emblematic of America today.
The demand for racism far exceeds the supply.
Oh, the economics are just
it's
rough.
Terrible.
So
they got to go back 65 years.
They got to go back 65 years.
And then make a big national park out of it. Yeah, I mean, some of these things are just ridiculous, where we're trying to shame America into thinking, you're horrible people and you did all these bad things. And why are we doing that?
Yeah, let's.
What is the purpose? Why
is there is there a single person that in these 20 parks that we're celebrating for something that they did well?
No. I mean, with nature. I mean, some of them are nature, which is great.
But I mean, of the ones that
is there anyone that's celebrating a success? Here's where we invented the internet.
So you could say on the one hand, Roosevelt was a Jewish German philanthropist who built schools. That seems like that. I know that's a good thing. But he built schools in areas where black kids weren't getting a good education, so that you could,
Well, still a good thing.
That's definitely a good thing. Yes. But there's never just like Clara Barton, founded the Red Cross. That's a good thing,
right?
But she was also abused by her husband, or you know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
Why do you have to? Why do you have to have the negative angle?
You have to have the negative angle, and it's trying to demoralize us.
Yeah.
And that's what we get. I mean, that was part of why people were so resentful of the Biden administration. Everything was America bad, America bad, America bad.
And then he builds that garbage library.
No, that's Obama. I was talking about Biden.
Oh,
weren't these from Biden? But
these are from Biden. These are Biden.
Yeah.
What's Biden's library going to look like?
I don't know. It should look like somebody taking a nap.
A rocking chair.
Yeah, that would be good. Rocking chair. Yeah. So let's get back to national parks that celebrate the beautiful country, that celebrate our achievements, that celebrate virtue and
battles.
Yeah, sure, battles.
The things that helped shape the nation.
Yeah.
But without building in national shame
right.
into every historical moment.
Why does it have to be downer all the time? It's always, look how rotten you are. And you'd think, like, if an enemy came into your country and wanted to make a bunch of national parks, what would they do? They would make national parks to demoralize you, to tell you how terrible you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the national parks, if they were funded by, the Chinese Communist Party.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they were. I mean, good grief. There was enough corruption in the Biden administration. Maybe the national parks were funded by the communist Chinese. All right, so I love national parks. I mean, they're great. I want to visit more, but not these. Not most of these.
Really?
Like, why? Why would I do it?
Debbie Downer.
I know. All right, so what's the positive spin? We got to put some positive spin on this.
Well, I mean, at least half of these, at least we are preserving land.
Yeah.
We don't have to pave over everything.
Yeah.
And, that's good.
That's good. All right. That's the
best
you can do. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to like this video and share it with your friends.
Blue suit in the sunshine.